Now, when we talk about roles of operating system or services provided by operating system, um, services, common services provided by operating system, then few there are some points to consider about, right? So what are the roles of operating system or what common services it provides? So first point is program execution. Program execution means it execute the programs. What is the meaning of execution of program? So there are, and what programs? Is it an application? No. This program is not an application or software, but it is saying that there are many programs run inside the computer to fulfill the task, to complete the task. So operating system takes care of all the programs and it runs and execute all the programs so that task may be fulfilled or task may be complete, right? So that is what program is. So how that happened? It happened by OS, how that it distribute fair share of time to all of the programs. It gives fair share of time to all of the programs so that no one programs can halt and all execute and run, right? So that is what program execution was about. That is what program execution is about. Next is that handling input output operations. It handles input output operations. That means there are many input devices like keyboard, mouse, and many output devices also like printer, plotter, right? So it handle all the input and output by taking care of that. For keyboard, which program to run? For mouse, which program or instructions to run, right? So that is what that's what handling input output operations. It handles various types of input and output devices. Then is manipulation of file system. Operating system takes care of the files also, right? Creating of a file, naming of the file, extensions of the file, it takes care of, right? Suppose we are saving a file by abc.doc extension, then that doc extension is referring to word file only. XLS or XLSX extension open in Excel only, right? So it takes care of, that is what file manipulation system, and it organizes the files also, it lists the file also, it searches the files also. That is what operating system does. So that is manipulation of file system. It manipulates the file system, right? Organizes, takes care of all the files, right? If you will search, if you will sort it out in an ascending or descending order and you view it in a group as a folder first, then files, right? Or you can group it as a date modified. So it takes care of all these things. So that is what manipulation of file system. Then is error detection and handling. Error detection and handling means it detects the error and handle it carefully. If any error occurs, it takes care of that error. If any error occurs, then it become attentive to that error and solve the error. Try to solve the error or handle the error in such situations. How it solves the error and handle the, suppose You are printing the document. You are printing the document, and then there are in the printer no papers left. Then it gives you message about there are no papers left, and it start being blinking red and red. Right? You see, there is no paper left in the printer. So what you will do then? You will just put the paper, more paper, 4 or 5 bundle of paper. Then it starts printing. Right? So here it handles the error, handles the situation. Right? Or some error is occurring inside your computer. Virtual memory is low, suppose. It try to manage it. It try to increase it by itself. Right? So that is error. It detects the error and handle it properly. Then is resource allocation. Resource allocation. There are many processes runs inside the computer to complete the task. Right? And the processes runs in priority wise. Which process to run first, which process to run last, it takes care of. And also, if some process do not require to run at a specific time, then it deallocate that process and allocate some other process in place of that process. And when this process will complete, then it again allocate that process a memory to execute. Right? So that is resource allocation. It allocate the resources. It allocate the resources means it allocate the resources. It allocate the resources to the processes to run. It allocate the resources. What are the different resources? CPU, memory, RAM, CPU, right? Processor. So it allocates the resources. Right? There are many tasks, many processes in a queue. Then it assign them resource. It allocate them resources. कि यार इसको पहले करना है, फर्स्ट वाले को करो, फिर फिफ्थ वाले को करो, फिर सेकंड वाले को करो. चलो सेकंड वाले का एक पार्ट कंप्लीट हुआ, सेकंड वाले का सेकंड पार्ट बाद में होगा, जबकि थर्ड वाले का फर्स्ट पार्ट कंप्लीट करो. Then is accountability or accounting. Accountability. It keeps account of it. It keeps a record of all the tasks performed inside the CPU. Right? All the functions. It keeps a record of all the functions happening in the CPU. Right? Which if errors are also coming, then that errors also it keeps a record of. Which type of error comings, which type of error is coming. Right? So this is accountability. And then information and resource protection. Information and resource protection, that means how it protect the information and resources of the computer, data and resources. It protects them. How it protects them? It ensures that all the information and resources are used by the computer or by an application in a correct way or not. If not, then it will use it in a correct way. It make it use in a correct way. Right? That means if 10 processes are there, then it gives all the processes equal amount of time to complete its processing. If 10 processes are there in a queue, then it gives each one of them equal amount of time to complete its processing. It suppose it is giving 1 second of time. So it gives that 1 second of time to all the processes. 1 second for one process, 1 second for second process, and after 10 seconds when it will reach to 10th process, then again it will start giving time to first process. Alright, 11th second it will give to first process again, then 12th second process, like that only, and it goes and on unless until it will not finish process. Now if first process is taking 4 seconds of time, second process is taking 6 seconds of time, then after 4th turn, first processes will out of the queue, it deallocate it out of the queue, and then second process will remain over there. 2 more turn, it remain over there, right? So in this way it protect the resources and information. One of the example I gave you right now. And then is the last point is providing user interface. That means it provide us an interface. It provides us an interface to communicate to the hardware of the system, to communicate to the application of the computer, right? It provides us interface, one interface through which, one medium through which we can communicate with the hardware of the system, through which hardware fulfill our commands and gives us our result, what we are looking for, right? This is providing user interface, all right? So all these points which we discussed were part of the topic roles of operating system or common services provided by operating system. So please write it down in your copy one by one. Listen carefully and then close your eyes, listen carefully and then write it down one by one in your copy, and I will also provide you notes afterwards. But first by yourself write down the notes, and when I will give you notes, then match it, how it is written, whatever I am providing you, how it is written there and what your notes is, and do the corrections, right? So you will understand it in a more better way. You can evaluate it, right? And if it is better, then no problem, keep it up. Thank you. That's all for today. So keep updating yourself and do revising for your exams. Thank you.